Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you my process for making a Psytrance kick drum inside of Kick 2. So I've loaded the plugin up and I've drawn in my MIDI. So my MIDI is just sitting on A sharp because I'm going to write the kick in A sharp. It's one of my favorite keys at the minute. So I've got the plugin loaded in. It's just got one of the presets. Now I'm going to be making this kick drum on my headphones, so it's not going to be as impressive as it could be if I was able to make it on my monitors. And I'm going to show you how I do my initial calculations. So the kick drum, let's just imagine it's going to be like a progressive Psytrance track. It's going to be around 140 BPM. And the way that I would usually be programming things, I've got kick, bass, 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 right? That's what I'd be having in my first beat of that bar. So you can see these MIDI notes indicating the three bass notes that would play. So I've got my kick drum, and my kick drum is going to populate the first half of that bar. So I can select that area and I can look down the bottom in this bar here when I've got my cursor over it, and it actually tells me the duration, so how many milliseconds are passing, and it's 214. So from here to here is 214 milliseconds. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my kick length to 214, or as close as I can get to it. 212 will do. So that is the length of my kick. I'm going to come over to my amp envelope and I'm going to get rid of all of the modulation that they've done. I'm going to just remove it all. And what I'm going to do is, so this is actually, I'm going to clean this up completely. So follow through with me as I clean this up. So I'll turn the EQ off. I'll just set that back to Unity as well. Turn the distortion off, set that to Unity, set that mix down. Drive, we don't need any drive. We're not going to use the compressor. So this first click, cool, I'm just going to turn it off. I don't need it. And then on the sub control, I'm going to go back to a sine wave. And I'm going to not have any harmonics. I'm going to keep the pitch neutral, okay? And then that can just stay where it is. So what we've got is that. So I can come in here and I can change all of these nodes as well. And because I'm making my kick in A sharp, I'm going to set the final node at A sharp. Cool. And I can set my beginning node at around maybe 6. That's going to give me a good click. And let's have a listen to that. It's going to sound ridiculous, but let's just go. Cool. All right. So that's the initial sound. So what I'll do is I'll set my volume envelope. So halfway through the kick, I'm going to place a node. I'm going to grab this guy and I'm going to pull it all the way down. Okay. And then just because I like the shape of it and the sound of it, I'm going to curve the tail end a bit. Cool. So that's going to be the first part of our volume envelope. So let's have a listen. Cool. So we don't have that annoying clicking on the end when the kick comes to a finish anymore. It just nicely goes back to no volume and there's no clicking. So here we're going to come back to our pitch and we're going to start playing around with some of the positioning of the new nodes that we'll make. So we'll create a new node by double clicking. We'll drag that down and I'm going to drag it to around, say, 2000 hertz. And let's have a listen to that. I can drag it this way to here, that way to here. Not much difference either way. So let's bend that around. And then let's bend this down and we'll start trying to get the right tone. Okay, so that's giving me quite a deep thud. And you'll notice I'm occasionally getting a bit of a click on the end when that's happening. Okay, cool, and let's just... It's not going to work. Okay, cool. Sweet, so that's sounding all right. I'll just quickly come over into the amp envelope And I'm going to draw the shape for the amp envelope over this period of time. So I'm going to duck out certain parts of the sound to basically, as we know, a kick drum is sweeping from a high pitch down to a low pitch. And as it's on its way down, you'll see when we get to around C7, it's at around 2000 hertz. Down around here we're at 650. So we kind of can tell that around this area we're going to be in the range of like the sort of muddy mids. So I can duck them out and don't have to use an EQ on them. Okay, so cool. And then I can control the click by adjusting that, but I think I'll leave it sort of where it is. Alright, so now what we can do is we can start adding a click onto our kick. So let's come into here and go into clicks, and we'll go into first click, and we'll solo it just to hear it. Okay. This one might work. Let's we're getting a bit of a click. I'm not sure whether that's on the attack or it's on the end. But we'll fix that once we pull it out of the VST either way. So cool, and in the click we can also make adjustments to the envelope. So let's say I like that. It's subtle, but it's adding just a little texture to the beginning of it. So let's just make sure we're happy with the body of our kick. Cool, alright, I'm pretty satisfied with that. So what we'll do now is we'll generate the kick drum and we can render it out, and we can pull it and we can place it on the channel. So here we've got the kick drum we've just made. Cool. And what we're going to do with this kick drum now is I'll show you how I do a bit of my basic sort of processing on it. So I've got this rack here called my kick and bass processing rack. I'll grab it over. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to use this VU meter. So this is a volume meter. It's showing me how loud it is. So I'm just going to roll off the end there so we don't get that clicking. And we're playing it twice, so that's going to cause a lot of distortion. Cool. Alright, so I've got that kick drum playing here. I'm just going to loop that. I'm going to play it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gain stage the volume, because it's coming through and it's coming through really hot. And it doesn't need to be that loud, especially if we want some headroom in our mix. So if I bring that down 14 decibels, we're going to hit around 0. And that's going to be difficult for you guys to hear now, so I'll come over here and I'll push the master and basically what I'm trying to give you an idea of is that we'll just push it by, say, 10 decibels. That'll be fine. Cool, so you guys should hear that better now. But we've got it coming through here and sitting on Unity. And obviously I would not have this limiter on my master to push the volume. I want to keep the volume definitely far away from clipping. But anyway, so what we're going to do next is we're going to use a Pultec EQ to add some fatness to the bottom end of the kick. And I've got some pretty basic sort of settings dialed in here, and I'll turn it on and you'll be able to hear what happens. So this is it with it off and on. So you should notice it filling out the bottom end a little bit more. What I'm going to do, it should modify also the click of the kick a bit as well. I'm going to turn the second VU meter on, and I can see that it's actually increasing it in volume. So I'm going to come over to the gain knob on my pull tech EQ, and I'm going to pull it down because I don't want to make my kick louder, because I know that my ears always think that louder is good, but that doesn't give me a proper understanding of what is changing in my sound. So if I'm making it a change like what I'm trying to achieve in this pull tech EQ, I'm trying to add low end and I'm trying to add a little bit of click on the kick. If what I'm actually doing is just increasing the volume, I'm tricking myself into thinking that that plugin is doing something valuable, whereas all it's doing is increasing the volume, and that's not what I want. I want to actually get a sonic quality that's different to the original at the exact same volume. So we've got that. So we're adding a bit of body to the bottom of the kick. And then next we're going to turn on this Waves plugin, and I've got the bottom two parts of this plugin turned off, and I've got the two top parts turned on, and I've got 4 and 4 for the range there. Now what this does, it's kind of like an upwards compressor rather than a downwards compressor which pushes volume down. This kind of pulls volume up. So listen to it without, and then with. So you should notice that the click of the kick is a bit more pronounced and a bit more in your face. And then we'll come over to the VUMT. We'll make sure that we're not achieving any extra loudness, so that's fantastic. And then I can freeze and flatten. And there is my kick drum ready to be sequenced with the rest of my track. So I'm hoping that that was really useful for you guys. I'll have another video shortly showing you how I do bass lines and kicks using other synthesizers and this sort of thing. So stay tuned for more. Thank you very much. Hi everyone. Thank you for watching my videos. If you would like some one-on-one help, I offer one-on-one tutorials over Skype. So if you think that you need a little bit of extra help, please get in touch with me. You can email me. My email will be in the link of the video description. If you would like to support the channel in other ways, jump over onto Patreon and consider becoming a patron. Subscribe to me on YouTube and like my page on Facebook. And thanks again for watching my video. See you in the next one.